Cool. All right. We're good. Sorry about that disturbance again. MIC Podcast, episode 151, where everyone is a master of their own creation. Our guest today is returning to the pod. We got the queen of artists talk mental health herself, Sydney Davis, in the building. We're shaking, Sydney.
Hi.
Good to see you again. How you living? How was your day and shit?
I'm cracking up because I just saw you on Saturday.
Yeah, right. It don't even feel like that though, low key.
It doesn't. It always feels like mad long in between me seeing anybody really.
I always forget that but the cohorts are once a month, so that's even kind of like a long time between the cohorts, but it's like whenever we link up again, it's like I felt like I seen you yesterday, but it wasn't. Like a lot of life has happened, like the last time since I seen you. So it's like a lot
can happen in 4 weeks. Like your whole life could change.
That's a fact.
A lot can happen in a day.
That's what
word.
Yeah,
facts. It does. And then we come back together, and it's like, oh man, the time's up already.
Yeah, you ain't even miss a beat or nothing like that. So shout out to that. I mean, just kind of even hopping into it. How has life been for you since we seen you on the pod like a year ago?
I was about to say, when was I?
It was only a year ago. So I thought it was longer because it's been, I was even looking at some of the episodes. It's been like 3 years for some people, 2 years for some people.
What episode is this? What episode are you
151.
Okay. I love that book.
Yeah.
You ever read 151 Fahrenheit? I think that's what it's called, about them burning all the books.
Anyway. I thought it was Fahrenheit 451. Is it? Am I tripping?
You know what? Let's just move on. What was the question?
Just how life has been for you since you've been on the pod, you know what I mean?
Just, busy, super busy. I don't even remember. I should have listened to the old podcast.
So I'm listening. I mean, just like, what you've been, up to.
The cohort that you're in is one of the things we've been, as far as like artist talk, we've been doing a lot of Black Therapy 101 events. I've been focusing on the cohort, and honestly that's really it. Like last year around this time, I was trying to have like I remember we had like our 2-year anniversary, we had a Black Therapy 101 event, and then we had our third cohort announced all in the same month, and I have no idea how I did that.
Right.
So I'm trying to scale back and really hone in on creating the curriculum and just like revising the curriculum for therapeutic spaces, and focusing on Black Therapy 101 because a lot of people are looking for Black therapists, and that was the need. So I feel like something that is unique about Artist Talk is like our events and our curriculums and everything is really tailored to the artists and the people's needs and what they're asking for. So that's why like every therapeutic spaces is really different.
Okay.
It's the same, but it's different.
Right,
it's based on like me and the past cohorts reading your applications and seeing like what people would work well with these people, and like creating like a well-rounded group, and then reading your applications to see like what are you guys looking to improve on and what type of support do you need, and then we kind of build the curriculum based off of that. The basis of the other ones
type vibes.
But those are the things that I've been kind of doing with Artist Talk, like with my actual life.
Yeah. So that's what I was about to say. Like, how have you been?
I feel like I never really talk about that. It's been good. I've been like hopping in and out of like entrepreneurship, if that's a word. And just like hopping into the workforce and then like hopping back out, and when I get a grant, honestly, like I'll get a job and then I'll think like, to create some type of stability for me, like financially and structurally. I like to work in like a workplace. I like to absorb my surroundings and work in places like I'm going to grow from. But then I'll get a grant and I'll be like, nah, I'm going to just focus on my stuff.
Yeah, look how that grant money change you up.
It really does. So I'm back into full-time being an entrepreneur right now. I just quit my job a couple weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, the job was cool. I was working overnight. So I was working 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then I was waking up trying to also like do Artist Talk stuff. And I wasn't getting no sleep. So I had to set some boundaries for myself and
led into our last cohort type vibes.
Boundaries been the theme of my life for this week. They were talking about, we had our cohort session that was on boundaries. Then I went to church and the topic was boundaries.
Yeah.
And I was like, not the B word. It's been popping up everywhere. So I'm just like, no, but I love that. I love when my life has like a theme.
You're right.
Or when I feel like there's a reoccurring message. I feel like there's a lot there and it means for me to like hone in and pay attention. So I've been talking a lot to my friends about boundaries and just like pressing that into them and myself and my surroundings. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm just out here trying to survive and thrive like the rest of us.
Fucking doing your thing. How was that wasn't like the first job that like you left, right? Or like that like you quit in order to pursue like
I quit a lot of jobs. No, I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
I mean, listen, bro, I've definitely left some jobs like, pretty in a rushed fashion, some would say. Like,
actually right now I'm trying to jump into the job market. Right now I'm applying to a couple jobs at foundations because what I was doing before, I didn't feel like I was walking in my purpose. And that's kind of why I left, amongst like not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking at places like the Pittsburgh Foundation or RAD, which is also a foundation.
I know you're working with the Still Smiling too, right?
Still Smiling. Right. We partner with them.
Okay.
But just looking for a job in a space that I'm going to be able to absorb knowledge and apply it to what I'm doing and apply it to my purpose and just being able to like walk in that and in real time, because my background is in banking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah. That's crazy,
which is
son.
Crazy because like I'm only 21.
Word,
so
yo,
I was working like as a baby.
Son, I was talking to a homie the other day.
Loud. No, I mean, not hard.
No. It's just funny because I was talking to a homie the other day, and like she was like, because like we were talking about her having kids, and she was like, I don't want to come home to my mom with a teen pregnancy. Cause she said like it still feels that way, like like I ain't trying to have kids and pop up with a teen pregnancy. It's like we about to hit 30. Like
I don't feel my age at all, and honestly, a lot of the people that I'm around, even when I was at the casino, like people were like, "How old are you? 21, 23?" Like I have so much energy just naturally. I feel like I can run circles around like the 20-year-olds.
Yeah,
or at least run with them.
Yeah, facts, right.
So I don't feel my age. I don't act my age. My energy is not my age.
That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like I ever will. Like I don't want to lose that. Like I don't want to feel like I think there's a difference between maturity and then like
that was the sermon too. That was the sermon. Shout out to Macedonia Church. Y'all saving my life, helping me stay on track. Shout out to God.
Word.
Also, he the real MVP.
Absolutely.
But they were talking about the difference between IQ and EQ in church, and I just think I feel like nobody talks about that. There's emotional intelligence and there's like your intellectual intelligence.
Right.
There's also an AQ, which is your adaptability, is what the A stands for.
Damn.
So there's a lot of
Qs.
They're
adding are they adding to the Qs? Like that's crazy.
But a lot of people are hiring based off of your EQ now.
Yeah, okay.
They're like not that they're not worried about the IQ, but they want to know like
how you deal with people and
can you work with the team?
Right.
Because if you could be the smartest person in a room, but if you can't build with the team,
not personable or
you're not going to be as valuable as another player, somebody that could come and has like leadership qualities or just can participate in teamwork.
Facts.
So yeah.
I mean, like just even going back to the bank, like when it comes to just like a job that, just like outside of your extracurriculars and stuff like that, do you not like working in the office space? Do you look for more like non-traditional 9-to-5s in that space, or like what's your wave on that?
So originally, when I turned 18, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to go to college for. I just like applied for general whatever it's called when you apply for like the general classes. The
gen eds, I think. Facts.
So I was talking to my dad about it. I was like, I wasn't really sure like what direction I wanted to go in, and he was like, well, apply at the bank because you'll always need to know money. You'll always need to hear those conversations, know how to talk those conversations. You'll always need to know that terminology. It's just going to build on your skill set, and everybody talks money, so you're going to learn a different language to be able to move in a world in a different way. So I look for those same qualities in any job. I like to go in and learn a skill set that I can apply to my real life.
Right.
So that's why I was talking about working at a foundation, because they're working in grants, they're working with the community, they're working with like curriculum, they're looking at how to build up the community, how to connect the community. Like those are all things that I'm doing through Artist Talk. It's just going to make me better. And I like working in places where I'm like, oh, I don't like how they did that, I'm gonna do it this way, or I could do this better in my space. Because a lot of what Artist Talk is just being in programs and other spaces in the community where I felt unsafe and uncomfortable, and I was like, let me create something that's the total opposite of this.
And there we go.
So those are things that I look for in a job, and of course, you know, a certain tax bracket,
right?
That would be worth my time, because my time is more valuable now. I will never work a job that's less than like $20 an hour, and that's my bare minimum.
Yeah, that's
but
like right.
I feel like just learning my value through a lot of these spaces. And I did that public speaking gig.
Yeah, no, because like I want to get all that. So like, you know, say no,
okay,
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm looking for.
We gonna touch on, but like,
so
just
hire me.
But just even to like, you know, what you were saying, as far as like money being a different language, I completely agree with you, because like it really truly is. Like you're hearing terms that like the average person wouldn't even know, like begin to know what it means. You know what I mean? It's just like, without that, I guess just entry point, I guess, you know, like just like, you know, for you it's banking, other people just even do the research on their own, but it's just not readily available information. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely language, just the language of money, just like financial literacy. Yeah.
That's intentional.
Yeah.
You know.
No. Yeah, 100%. And it's just like as you learn more, it's like I could see why this isn't like, you know, readily available, but they don't, just throughout life. And you know, if you have, you know, parents that are lucky enough to you know, be financially literate and, you know, guide you when you're younger, then that's a blessing. But if you don't even have a source to be like, yo, you should even be looking at this or thinking about this, it's just, you could go your whole life and not even know some really crucial things, and just even building wealth for yourself, let alone generational wealth and like this down the year, this on the third. So
yeah, I think that's true. I think a lot of these systems and structures are set up especially to put certain people at a deficit. And you know, they're cutting back on all the DEIs, and that's a hot topic right now. But the reason they were put in place is because there was acknowledgement of a deficit and a purposely like keeping this information from us, so we can't grow, or because they know what happens when we get knowledge, baby. We gonna make $1 out of 15 cents.
Shit, yeah, niggas know how to make shit shake for sure.
Yes, like a tail feather.
Word up.
So like, I think that those things are intentional, but I think our community is doing a great job of putting that information out ourselves, and that's in our culture and our history. Is like a lot of it is from our elders sitting around telling us stories, telling us how to, you know, finesse the system, and sometimes for good, sometimes
sometimes the information can be used for other agendas.
But I feel like, you know, just shout out to all the like community members and community leaders that are putting out all of these financial programs. I think y'all are doing a great job, and I'm not specifically like in that element, but we have aspects of it in the cohort.
No,
like
I mean,
had our budget
you do an incredible job making that that information accessible, yo. It's crazy. Again, like, you know, for some people without that core, they just even wouldn't know to, yo, I can get grant money for, wait, what? There's programs that I can do, wait, what? Like, you just, without that, they'd be hard pressed to even know who to talk to about that shit. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know until you get into like motion.
Right.
Like, I didn't know I had to have a budget for a grant until I got into the grant application. I finished the application. I'm like, thank God I'm done. And then it was like, okay, submit the budget. I'm like, now I got to learn how to do this other thing. Yeah. So, you know, YouTube is cool, but sitting down with like somebody in your community that cares about the stuff that you care about, and they understand why it's important, and they also understand like where you came from, how it might be a little further back than other people as far as like conversation. I think that that's super, super important. And I was fortunate enough to have a dad that had a background in banking and mortgage broking and like all of those things, and real estate and
a lot of important lanes.
We had a lot of money conversations. I mean, I was like 6 or 7, and my dad was like, what's the difference between a secure loan and an insecure loan?
Oh, shit.
What's the difference between like a secure credit card and an insecure credit card? And what's the APR? What's the interest rate? What's principal?
That's
and
crazy.
I'm like, can I have a snack?
Yeah, where the Welch's fruit snacks at? You talk about credit cards and shit.
Yeah, but I think that's super important, and I'm excited to see like where our community goes with that, especially right now.
Right now, and again, shout out to you for making all that super accessible. Last month, I believe you spoke at the American Art Therapy Association conference. Is that correct?
It was a little bit longer than a month ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I think the post was like later in the.
So Michael, shout out to Michael. So I was talking to a homie, Michael, who also does like social media. He's the manager for FED, and he also does work with the city. But I was just sitting down talking to him, having a casual conversation. I'm like, yeah, I do all this stuff, and like I want to sell my services. I do all this stuff for free for artists, and I meet with them, and I plan out events, and I help them with like ideation and all this stuff. And I just spoke at a conference, and I want to learn how to do that more. But like, he was like, oh, well, you should post about it. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I was going to post a picture of me like speaking at this conference, but I never want to come off as like boastful or like, I'm just like, oh, I did this thing.
I don't even think that comes off as boastful though. Like,
yeah, I guess for me, it's like, believe it or not, I have imposter syndrome, and like all the stuff we go over in our cohort, those are things like I've went through as well as a leader.
Same, yeah.
So, I don't really post a lot of my accomplishments. I try to be chill and post like the stuff we're doing with Artist Talk.
Right.
But that was huge for me.
And the topic was huge too.
Yeah, so basically what happened was, I don't know how they found me. It was literally God or just one of the angels that is out here, because people just say my name in rooms and I'll never even know who they are. So I'm just so grateful for the people that are in those rooms talking about
it lets you know that you're out here moving and shaking. Like, you're out here making waves.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
But they reached out to me on my website and was just like, hey, we found you and somebody recommended you. We're looking for somebody to lead a conversation and speak at our conference. And we wanted to see if you're open to it. And it was about bridging the city through like
art,
and they wanted mental health discussions. They wanted me to talk to, there was 800 art therapists.
That's crazy.
In the audience. And I was like, I immediately was like, well, I'm not a therapist and I just do these things in my community and, I really care. But yeah, I could do it like if you want me to. And I kind of talked myself down and they were like, yeah, we'll send over your prices. So I reached out to my mentor and I was like, yeah, how much should I charge them? She's like, well, Google it. So I go on Google and a speaker typically makes anywhere from like $1,000 to $5,000. So I sent him $5,000 because he got to talk your way down.
Yeah,
not up.
right.
So I sent it to them and they were like, well, we actually saw that you just did Black Therapy 101 because I had just posted pictures like maybe like a week before that. This is like a month span of us going back and forth. And they're like, we actually wanted to see how much it would be for you to put together a panel of therapists and have a discussion and come up with the questions. Basically exactly what I do for Black Therapy 101,
right.
but on a stage with therapists for the conference.
And they're
like, we want to pay you $1,000 for it. Because we don't have it in the budget for the 5,000, which I appreciated them realizing that the scope of work was going to be this.
Yeah,
so you got to come with the coins.
Yeah,
and if
right.
not, they kind of pivoted and readjusted. Now, mind you, I didn't think I was going to get that 1,000. I didn't think I was going to get the 5,000. I didn't know what I was going to get, but I was cool with landing there. And that was
shoot for the moon. If you miss, you among the stars.
Facts. So I was just really grateful because I think for me, I never pictured myself as like public speaking and doing that, but it's something I've always been curious in and wanted to walk into. So this has been a huge like blessing and boost of confidence for me, and it's pushed me and propelled me into a lot of the things I'm doing right now. I'm actually training with Pitt to be a facilitator for some of their team programs.
Oh shit!
Kappa and other high schools.
That's fire, yo! Congrats, that's dope. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm getting all my clearances right now, and I'm going through different programs to go in and teach mental health stuff through Pitt's programming. Different programs about like there's one Expect Respect where we teach them about like dating and what are boundaries and norms and how you're supposed to feel and your mental health and all of these things. So it just pushed me into a place that was like, oh, I could do these things that I thought that I wanted to do, but I wasn't quite sure how.
Right.
I think just putting it out there, like God and the universe and your friends, the more you talk about it and manifest it, it'll happen. So that sparked a lot of things for me, and I went home and ugly cried after that because I was just like, this is insane. Like I can't believe, and like it was a conference, like they're from Jersey. So it was like people from all over like the country. It wasn't crazy. People from Pittsburgh that were in the audience.
That's crazy.
It was like maybe 100 out of the 800.
Just expanding your whole network and your reach.
So, yeah, it was really dope, and it was very like reaffirming. Gave me a lot of reassurance and just like confidence in myself. So
hell yeah,
really grateful for that opportunity and really excited to see like what's next.
Hell yeah, and I mean shit, bro. Again, I don't even think you know like the effects you're having on your community, and like that just even goes to show you. But like just even the fact that you were in front of people not even from Pittsburgh, I think that's even gonna you'll see the effects of that down the line where you got people in Jersey, you know, with you on their mind. So. Like I mean, bro, you know, yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
I think a lot of that too came from like moving to LA and going out there.
Yeah, I forgot you were in,
and like
you were fake from Cali a little bit.
Yeah, like just going out there and doing stuff and doing pop-ups and speaking and like just doing stuff with niplets. I think that like it just showed me that like I can go other places or be in different spaces with people that are not from here and connect and thrive.
Right.
So I think I'm starting to like see that a lot of things and seeds that were planted before are starting to sprout now.
Yeah.
And the importance of just continuing to do those little things to pour into and like plant things into your future.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think I actually just in our last episode, but how did you like living in LA? I don't think I could live in LA personally.
Okay. Yeah. Why?
Just like the culture, just like, you know, just like kind of like the people. And like, I'm just like, as far as just, everyone is moving there to get on, or like they're you know, just like they're there for just a self agenda, and like nothing really seems genuine. Now, have I been to LA like once, and like and it was like very passing through. Like it was when I was in college, like visiting a homie that was going to school in Cali, and like we were just passing through LA. But that's just the vibe I get, you know. But I just want to know your experience because that's a very, you know, myopic perspective on my front.
A lot of people in LA are not from LA.
It makes sense.
I think a lot of people come with this perception of like people that are from LA. Some of them are like that.
Yeah,
but
right.
There are people that are from all over, so it's really a melting pot.
Right.
So it is what you make it.
Right.
I really think we're magnets. When you go in an environment like that or New York, you attract what you are.
Yeah.
So I had a great experience at LA. I got to hang out with a lot of artists. I got to observe a lot of their creative practices. It brought the hustler out in me.
Interesting.
Nobody in LA has one job. Nobody in LA has one hustle. People are working 2-3 jobs. Then they're doing pop-ups on the weekend. Then they're trying to like progress their career. They're going to rehearsals. They're going to auditions. They're trying to create their own thing. So you just get to see these people really like strive for their dreams, and like that energy is like so contagious. It just is like, it makes you feel like, oh, I had 4 pop-ups this weekend. I should have had 10.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of go into this, and I never felt like I was in overdrive. So I moved out there. I kind of like, I got niplets popping, and then COVID hit. So it was a different experience for me. And then I was out there for a little bit, like after COVID kind of started to settle out. So, you know, I got time to just chill when I was out there. Like I started running. I was running 3 miles a day.
I remember you saying that.
Like I was doing a lot of
How long was you out there?
Like 3.5 years.
Damn, I mean, yeah. So you was definitely.
I moved around. I lived in Calabasas when I first moved there. Which was like
shit, yeah.
crazy.
Oh, you was lit.
Because I was like, I know, it was like a gated community with a pool every day. I was like acid washing my shirts at the pool and like, you know, cooking and this little like condo. So it was nice. And then I moved to Burbank for a very short time. I didn't really like it there either. And then I moved to K-Town, and I love Koreatown.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like just people like me, more like down to earth. And then it was close to the city. Everywhere you go in LA, you got to drive a little bit. But
you gotta have a whip out there, bro. Like,
So I liked it. I got to, my days off, I would just go to the beach. I would paint. I would make niblets. I would cook, and just like chill. But I got to meet, like I said, a lot of dope artists. I'm like infatuated with creative processes. I'm not always. I really most times don't care about the end product, but it's dope.
The
to
process
see,
is crazy.
like,
right.
Like when you're in it.
It's a fact.
I'm attracted to energy.
Yeah, right.
So I like that, like when you're kind of like figuring things out and you're playing with energy and you're like curious and childlike and you're like, let's try this, let's try this, let's do this. Hey, do an ad lib. And I'm like, and then you turn it into like part of the beat. And then we're like, so
no, that shit is
like
dope.
That. And anywhere where I could be near water, I feel really connected to water.
What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn. I'm an earth sign.
Oh, all right. I thought there was gonna be some zodiac connection there. I ain't know. Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, I am a goat.
Yeah.
Like not like the Capricorn is a goat.
Oh, like greatest of all
Jesus
time.
Jesus is a Capricorn.
Oh shit! I did not know that. Shout out to the Capricorns.
I like to throw that in there.
Yeah. That's
just so y'all know.
Yeah, that's y'all's biggest player right there.
That.
Yeah. Just even going back to the comments that you spoke about, I want to just pick your brain about how do you think art is a bridge between communities personally?
I think art is a conversation starter, and I think a lot of people don't think they're artists, but like we wake up every day and we put on our outfits, we get our hair done or our nails done, or we, we're always in, we're kind of like representatives, you know what I mean? Like we're showing up and we're like showing like, this is my personality. This is how I want to be perceived. This is who I am. So I think everybody is an artist. And yeah, I think art is just a conversation starter. I think it bridges communities because you gotta like, to create something, I feel like you kind of have to dig within yourself.
Right.
And when people can look at your art and relate to it, I think it normalizes a lot of things. It makes you see that like you're not alone.
Right.
It gives a lot of like space for you to relate to something or not relate to it. And I feel like I said, it's a talking point. And I think conversations is what brings communities together.
Agreed.
For good or for bad.
Agreed.
So yeah,
both ends of the spectrum for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, again, congratulations to like, even speaking on that, like what was some of the reception that you got after the conference? Like just with that conversation, did you see any new perspectives, like, open up for some people? Like were people kind of talking to you after the gig?
Yeah, so the therapists that we had at the conference, they were all different. One of the therapists was one of the first responders for the shooting that happened in Squirrel Hill at Tree of Life. It was a big shooting that happened here. Sorry, trigger warning. But yeah, they went in and they were trying to attack Jewish people.
No. Okay, yeah. I mean, that was fucking terrible. Right.
She was a first responder for that. I had another therapist that was Hispanic and works with immigration and people that are not like from America. There was another therapist that works with the poly community, and then there was a Black therapist that works with a lot of African American community members. So it was an interesting conversation. What was the question?
Just like if you saw just from the conversation any perspective shit, like did you see like a light bulb kind of go off for some people? Like what was the there was just a lot of different perspectives. I think like for me, I saw a lot of different things but a lot of similar things. So like I'm used to working with Black therapists or BIPOC therapists at least, so it was interesting to hear from like, oh, this is the Jewish community or this is the poly community or whatever community we were talking about at that time, the similarities. Like at the end of the day, bro, we're like, just people. And like something like that's also kind of just even as I go through life, it's just like the human experience is just it's a common experience because like we're individuals obviously have super unique experiences for sure, but as a group, like we've all felt the same emotion just through, like, we just got there differently.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, but like, I completely agree with that. Like, the human experience on it just is common, but your story is obviously your own. But I feel like we be feeling the same things.
Yeah, it's like okay, like if you go outside and you get punched in the face, right there, and then somebody, maybe your friend, she just got broken up with that day.
Right.
It's like you can't compare pain. You know what I mean? Like, just because my breakup wasn't, just because I
wasn't
didn't get
physical,
punched in the face,
right, exactly.
And you broke, like, y'all are both in pain.
That's a fact.
And some people are just like, oh, well, you didn't get punched in the face, and this,
like, you're not bleeding on the floor. Yeah,
but
right.
like, bro, I'm still in pain.
Right.
Like, I'm emotional. This is
it's affecting me. Yeah, right. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, we're humans, and like, we go through things, and it doesn't have to be the exact same thing for me to relate and be like, yo, I felt that before.
Exactly.
And I can have understanding and compassion and love for it, and it really just, it normalizes a lot of things. So I think I see that a lot in Artist Talk too, at
100%.
any one of our events or the cohorts. It's just like, I will be sitting in those therapy sessions with y'all, and one of y'all will say something, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I went through that, and I, like, we really are on this earth with billions of people, and I will really think that I'm the only person going through something.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're all guilty of it.
I went through that. I didn't think anybody else would, and it's like, bro, why would you not think that?
Right.
Like, you didn't think that, like, they ever felt this thing?
Yeah, no, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, so, I love that, and those are some of the things that I see. It's just normalization.
Yeah,
it's really one of the main things I see in like all of these conversations.
No, that's dope. And again, I completely agree with you. And you even spoke on it a little bit earlier that every cohort is different, which because it was on my questions here, but that's just mind blowing to me because like it's so curated. Like specifically, you know,
I'm so curious to hear like your side, like your experience.
Well,
like,
no, because like it's just a super curated experience. And you said like you got like over 50 applicants, 48 applicants, something like that.
We had for our first cohort, we had 12 apps, and we ended up taking 9 artists, but only because 3 of them only had like half the questions filled out, and the rest were empty. We would have accepted everybody.
Okay, yeah, right.
And then the second cohort, we had 42 applicants, and we picked 12. We were only supposed to pick 8, which is what my grant was. But I have a bleeding heart, so like I never can decide. But I mean, it's tough, we bring in the past cohorts to help select the new cohort. So that's something I love. Okay, that's pressure for
fire.
me.
Yeah, that's
and
fire.
Honestly, like there's this thing. I believe the term is secondhand trauma. And like even just reading the applications is like so emotional for me because people really pour their heart out and are telling me things that they went through and like traumatic things. And like, how do you judge somebody's mental health? How do you, like, if it was up to me, like everybody should have access to this. So that was extremely hard. And so we got to implement, like I asked some of the past cohort members to help. And gratefully, they came in and they helped select the second cohort, and then we did that for the third one as well.
When you decided to bring because like I think that's super dope, and it just kind of even builds that community even further. You know what I mean? But when you decided to do that, was it just at a point for you where things were kind of getting a bit too much, or you kind of feeling like a little burning the candle at both ends?
I was like reading applications and crying. I was like, this is crazy. It was pissing me off.
Oh shit!
Sorry, I just went through a spectrum. I was like emotional, and then it made me mad. Did you ever see Inside Out?
Hell yeah.
That is my movie.
Yeah,
I felt like the flame.
Yeah, right.
I went from sadness to the flame.
Right.
But yeah, it was just like, I was just like, this is crazy that all these artists need help. Like all of these artists deserve this. And it's like, I can't do this with $50,000. I can't save Pittsburgh. But it like, it really humbles you. And it really like, I guess that's the best word to describe it.
Right.
It really just humbled me. It was like, good for the people that are applying that want to do better.
Right.
That are prioritizing themselves.
Right.
I think some people will go through life and like never realize that they need help or never know how to ask for it. And I am the biggest I have a huge struggle with like asking people for help.
Right.
Like most of the time, even when you came in the one day, you were like, "You need help." I was like, "No, it's fine." And then halfway through,
I'm like, "Yo, let me help." I was like, "Bro, let me help
I was
Sydney."
like, "Okay,
yeah. I was like,
you could
because
throw these leaves on the
that
floor.
first no is a defense mechanism. Yeah. Give this nigga some leaves. Yeah.
Like, so like that's a struggle for me. So I just think it's so commendable for people to be like, you know what, here's a program that really is prioritizing us. Let me go and see what I could do to better myself. So yeah, that.
No, go ahead if you.
I don't know what I was about to say.
No, you good. But is it like, so do you go in with like a core curriculum and then you just kind of like based on who you pick for the core, you tweak it there, or is it, do you pick the people, right? Like the finalists, you see what their responses were and then you start curating from there. How does it work for you?
Yeah, so we have some basic as far as like the classes and like the actual workshops, because what we do is we'll have a workshop like grant writing, but then we'll pair it with a therapy session about like burnout, or we'll do like social media and pair it with like anxiety. But so we do have like a basic curriculum that we follow, but what I do is once we read like, okay, these are the people that we're going to select, and we're very specific in what we select. Like I said, it has to be like well-rounded. So maybe there's like 5 people that are really good at this, but they might put in their application, one of the questions is like, what do you want to contribute to the cohort? What do you want to learn from the cohort? So those are things that we'll look at that and we'll be like, oh, this person wants to learn how to be more confident in this, or wants to learn this skill set. Oh, this person's really good at this skill set. This will build and this will naturally become.
That's so dope, Sonia. That's crazy.
So I will tailor it and I'll tweak it to, okay, you know what, this cohort looks like one of the cohorts really wanted like content. They were like, I want to learn how to do content, social media. It's like all throughout their application, social media. And I was like, I feel you.
Yeah.
Thank God I have a social media team. Shout out to Jess.
Nah,
Hungry
big shout
girl,
out.
Big
No,
City.
yeah, shout out to Jess, man.
Listen.
For real. Jess,
she's
CC.
an angel. She's a lifesaver. Yeah. Shout out to my friend Ange. She is like the real queen.
No, yeah, big shout out to Ange.
Shout out to Cam from the past cohort that's doing our content now.
Yep.
Yeah, and everybody else on my team. Yeah. But that was something that I really heard from them. So we really dug into that in the therapy, like as far as like all the symptoms and things that came with that. Because I sit down with Dr. Darla and have a conversation, and I show her my curriculum, and then we build the therapy based off of that. Okay. So yeah, it's we just look at like what are the things that are stressors,
right?
And that are coming up. I think for this cohort, some of the things were like strategic planning and confidence, and what were some of the other, and grants and budgeting and finances and building like a community. Those were big pillars. So that was something that I feel like we're emphasizing in this cohort.
Son, I just think you just do an incredible job setting all that stuff up, and just even like the care that you have to just specifically just curate that experiences for shit that people will actually utilize is the thing, and like stuff that you can even see people benefiting from. Son, our last last weekend, bro, that sound meditation, that sound bowl meditation
with Quest.
Yeah, bro, shout out to Quest, man. That was, I mean, I didn't even know how much I needed that, but it was just super, super relaxing. Like I truly felt relaxed, and it's just
Quest.
Shout out to Quest, man. And just lately I feel like I have been having trouble relaxing, just like not fully relaxed. Like, yeah, like I'm chilling here. I mean, like I'm not saying like I can't chill, but it's just like I don't necessarily feel refreshed. Yeah. Or just like fully rested.
Yeah.
Bro, after that I was like, damn, like this is what it feels like to have rested, or just to have truly relaxed.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I really emphasize too, like amongst the like learning, like professional development, learning, or like in the group therapy, throwing in those activities where we get to expose you to different types of like
No. I was like, I think it was like some lipstick or something.
Okay. So like exposing you guys to things that you could actually put in your tool belt and take home. Like, those are things that I feel like I never experienced a sound bowl. Some people never experience like certain practices. So I try to implement them either at the beginning of something or the workshop or at the end. So like once you do go through these processes, say you're filling out a grant. Now, okay, in the therapy, we're talking about the things that are like stressful or things that came up or just your regular day life. Then we have like a sound bowl. Okay, well, now you know, like, hey, if I do ever get in this space where I'm stressful, here are some tools from therapy that I can implement. But maybe I could look for a sound bowl class. Mm-hmm. Maybe I could look for a yoga class.
Right,
things
facts.
That you maybe wouldn't have looked for.
You
before.
literally, just eating. That's was my point. Like, literally after that session, I'm just like, maybe, I don't know, just like in order to relax, like maybe I should, look for similar sounds or just look for, I don't know, just like audio wise stuff that'll help me just kind of get into that zone. Like, you know, like I haven't really done a deep dive yet, but it's just been, on my mind. Like,
yeah. I mean, those things, they hit for me the same way they hit for y'all. I was in there emotional.
Did you work with Quest outside of that session, or like was that your first?
Me and Quest relationship really just like developed through artist talk, through therapeutic spaces specifically. Mm-hmm. But I do want to do more community events. I'm looking for the bag. So if y'all want to sponsor me or give me a grant or some money, holla at your girl.
Nah. Quest is fucking dope.
No, I'm just kidding.
Quest is dope, man. Shout out to Quest. And also again, you mentioned it earlier. Artists Talk Mental Health celebrated 3 years last year, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Shout out to that,
November.
man. Yeah, shout out to that.
Crazy.
Big ups for that.
That's insane.
It's fucking crazy, yo. So just even kind of looking back and, reflecting on your journey, did you surpass where you thought you would be 3 years in? Or like where is that, kind of gauge for you right now?
I didn't really come in with any expectations. Mm-hmm. I think that.
So you surpassed them. If you came with no expectations,
I guess I feel like I had goals for Artist Talk, like just as far as like I never thought that it would get this far. Like we literally had Artist Talk in a little photography studio in Southside Opia.
Shout out to Opia. Okay.
And it was like I think, like I said, 20, maybe 15 people bought tickets on Eventbrite. And I ended up walking out, and I think there was like 60 to 70 people outside. I had to go back in the bathroom because I started crying.
That's crazy.
And it was just like, what? The news showed up. Like, it was just
That's crazy. Yeah.
That was our first event. So I really didn't know what to expect. And then the cohort happened. Like I said, there was only like 12 people that applied. I was not expecting like 40 people to apply for the next one. So like, yeah, I guess in a sense, like, I exceeded those goals, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm just letting it be open and keeping my ear to the streets, aka my community, so that I know like what do y'all want and what do you need, and trying to not ever make it like about me or about I know a lot of organizations, something that I peep just being in I want to say the industry, but like
right.
A lot of orgs will cater their programming to like what the pillars of like a foundation are so that they can get the bag.
Okay.
And not like
I can see that,
yeah. One of my mentors, shout out to Julius Boatwright, that is the homie. And he's just always looking out for me, always plugging me in. But he told me something very early on after like one of my first events. He was like, never change your narrative. Like, just make sure like Artist Talk is always what you want it to be.
Right.
Because once you start getting into this grant game,
you start
organizations and stuff,
selling
like,
yourself for grants. Yep.
And this will like, they'll try to like give you money and be like, oh, I want you to
push their agendas. Yep.
Or like, exactly. Right. So like, I'm just so grateful for all of my mentors because they put me on game before I knew what it was, and I didn't even really know what they meant at the time, but once I was in the thick of it, I was like, oh, this is what he was talking about.
How'd you build your network of mentors? Because like they have just like, it just sounds like they just like helped you out at such crucial points. Like
man, honestly, I don't know. I just feel like God I feel like God has just blessed me. Like, Dr. Darla.
Shout out to Dr.
I
Darla,
met
man.
her at Greenwood Week at Emerald City, which is a Black conference in Pittsburgh, where they just teach you about entrepreneurship on like every level. Shout out to Camille and Sam Black. They're really putting on for the city. That's where my office space is.
Okay.
And they do a lot for the Black community. But I met her there. I was like, I have this idea for artist talk and I want to do this thing. Like, this is just when it was a baby, like not even manifested at all. And she's like, yeah, like I'll talk to you. And so I met with her and she's been a mentor of mine. Miss Katina, Miss Robin, Julius, like all of these people, I think just like gradually came into my path from like starting to enter certain worlds and certain networks and certain like, I'm a social butterfly. I think that's what it is.
If you could not tell.
Yeah. Like, I think I was going to like 4 or 5 artist events like a week.
Yeah.
So it was like I'm always out.
You
always
were just
like,
outside, right?
And then I'm looking for people. I'm like, not intentionally, but I'll be like, somebody will be speaking. I'll be like, oh, that would be great for therapeutic spaces. Or this would be something great to implement in this. Hey, are you available to grab a coffee, or can I buy you lunch? Can I talk to you and sit down and tell you about something I'm doing? I don't even know if there's any type of anything synergy that we have. But like, maybe I can help you. Maybe you can help me. Maybe there's nothing there. Maybe you could just keep me in mind. Like, there's so much opportunity that comes from grabbing a coffee.
No, that's literally why you're winning, bro. Because like, just even your openness to do that. Like, people aren't
Their
even
openness to do it. Really,
I mean, fact, no, 100%.
And shout out to DS Kenzel from Boom Concepts.
Yeah, definitely.
He's always putting me on. He's always giving me game. I was talking to him. I was like, how do you ask somebody to be your mentor? How do you find a mentor? He's like, yeah, you just ask them. And I was like, so will you be my mentor? So like, he really put me on like how to figure that stuff out. But I think most of the time it naturally evolves. And honestly, asking people is so impressive too, especially our elders, like people that got the real game and been in the game. They're so impressed by you just being like, hey, can I learn from you? Right. Like, I used to follow, I still do. Her name is Yes Jules, and she does a million things in entrepreneurship. But just watching her Instagram, and somebody had messaged her and was just like, I want to learn from you, and I want to work for you. I'll work for you for free. I moved down to Florida, and I watched that person develop under her as staff. And like, there's so much, like, you know how much they probably gained from that, and like where they're at right now, because they took a leap of faith. I'm not saying go work for people for free, but I'm saying like I just reached out to this amazing wedding planner in Pittsburgh. Her name's Alexis Allen. And I just shot her a DM on Instagram. I was like, listen, I love the detail you have in the weddings, and I want to create events for my community that are significant in a way that a wedding would be. Like, I want y'all to feel like whatever I have, whatever event you come to, like, that's for you.
Facts.
That is for you. From the food to the decorations to the way it smells to the music that's
literally
on.
Everything.
Like, everything.
I can't. That is just. It just is so. It's just mind blowing to me because I'm a battle rap fan too, right?
Okay. I remember Smack DVDs.
Yeah, all that, right? And it's like, I think that is one of the hardest disciplines within, rap, or just like in the hip hop realm, because you have to literally tailor bars. Tailor 1 to your audience and 2 to your opponent. So like every time, it's like you have to write a new album every, like, however often you battle, you gotta
have the bars tucked, but you gotta
and it's gotta be like, something that's like 3 to 5 minute rounds if it's like a major battle. So you gotta come in, like usually 3 rounds. So it's like 15 minutes of new material every time you go. And it's just like, I kind of parallel that to the cohorts. It's like, a new, like, literally however many cohorts there is, so like they'll probably be like, what, 5 or 6, 7, cohorts, like, total, right? And each joint, like, the food is different, the vibe is different. That's not easy to do, bro. That shit is crazy.
But it's also a great opportunity to plug in like Black businesses, venues.
I mean, facts. That's
the reason I do that. Why is that a different place with different food, with different things? Because what I want to do is create this map for y'all, and like when y'all have an idea for something, like you don't have to think about like who could cater my next event, what venue would I have this event at. Who could I lean on to do music, to do decorations, to do whatever? you already have a Rolodex of it.
Right.
Because we were at those spaces. Not only were we at those spaces, you're meeting the people that run the spaces.
Right.
You're meeting the caterer. That's why when Bougie Bites came in to drop off the food, she's like, I'm just going to drop it off. I'm like, no, come meet the cohort.
Nah, facts.
If you want to have an event and you need a caterer, now you can reach out and she'll be like, oh yeah, I remember you.
Yeah, right.
You were in therapeutic spaces. The power from being in the room and building relationships,
just even rubbing shoulders,
way further than money or anything else.
Shout out to that, man.
Yeah, that's very intentional.
Nah, you do such a good fucking job at that. I do want to, because this is fucking huge. You were present for the proclamation of Suicide Awareness Week that was organized in Pittsburgh.
I thought you were about to say that big long sentence.
Yeah,
I thought you were about to go hard.
Nah.
Yeah, so we, along with 3 other organizations, we put together a proclamation for Suicide Awareness Week in Pittsburgh. There had not been one previous to.
Right.
There was one in Philly and other parts of Pennsylvania, but not Pittsburgh specifically. So yeah, we created a proclamation, and we're working on putting together activities with the city for that week.
Is it officially recognized, or like
yep.
What's up?
Yeah, we got the proclamation.
So
I
that's
had the little piece of paper, took a picture with it.
Bro.
And met with the city officials. We're gonna continue to meet and build that out. But yeah, it was pretty dope.
What do you think that, in your eyes at least, like what do you think that means for, let's just even say, Pittsburgh's relationship specifically with mental health, because that's fucking huge. Like,
I mean, I just think like it's an opportunity to continue to have those conversations and push the importance of it. I think like seeing the turnout at these events and having these conversations shows the city how important it is and how much it's needed, because there's a disconnect there sometimes where they're like, oh, like, I don't know how much funding or how many people are going to actually show up to this. They want to see people invest, but you can't invest unless there's something to show like that there's a need or a want for it.
Right.
So I think that it's really just pushing the importance of that and opening up the conversation in all realms and in all sides. But I also think it's bringing all these mental health organizations together for us to have a conversation and collectively serve the city. So I'm really excited to see how that unfolds and how that happens. Like I said, we're still in the baby stages of like just planning, like what would that look like and what does that look like? I know some organizations have like a mental health walk or a suicide prevention walk, or we might have like a conference or some workshops and an activity, but we're putting it all together. But I think the biggest thing is just showing the importance that like there is a want and a need for it and bringing us together in community.
What was that process like, putting the proclamation together like?
Just sitting together, reaching out to the city, pushing for that advocacy, giving them information about like what it looked like in other cities, and what they're doing and why there's a want and a need for that here. And also just like a lot of the organizations telling their story behind why it was important to them. Like Pittsburgh Paint is an organization that's really dope. And trigger warning, unfortunately, his daughter has suffered from suicide, and they have pushed that in schools and have a lot of programming. But I think just hearing other stories and them being able to tell their story, like I said, just sharing information and sharing community and conversation, it normalizes things, not normalizing like that situation, but normalizing like, yo, we're all struggling with something, and everybody is affected by that, whether you think so or not. And if not, then a person you know is affected by it.
First.
I'm just excited to address that and to be a part of that.
Shout out to that. That was fucking, I saw that. I was like, that's some ill shit. Like, yeah, that's some fucking crazy shit. So congrats on that. Like, I think that is huge. I can't wait to see that, develop just throughout the city, man. I think that's super important. So I just want to, quick little check in, like, how have the ways that you kind of navigate your mental health changed, since you last been up here, just like, even just,
Absolutely.
through your life. Yeah.
Well,
what's that look like for you now?
When I first did Artist Talk, like when I was first starting it, I wasn't prioritizing like my own therapy and self-care as much, because I was just like over exuding myself, and I was burning out a lot. I was in the cycle where I was like going hard 12 hours in the office, going home, sending people emails at like 2-3 in the morning, to the point where my team was like, yo, like, you can't be sending us, like, we gotta set some boundaries with you because you're wilding. Like, we was just in the office for 8 hours.
I'm
crying,
son.
Yeah, so,
That's hilarious.
I think I was just so like passionate and like hyped up when the idea was there and when it was taken on.
She thinks she's Steve Jobs. What's going on here? Like,
I was trying to be.
Facts.
He had it figured out.
It's a revolutionary.
But yeah, I was constantly in this stage, like I said, of burnout, and then I was like coming out of it, and I was like hitting the floor running again.
Right.
And then I was burning out. So I think now I'm taking my time more. I'm understanding like the definition of capacity and also defining it for other people. I set a lot more boundaries with other people, and I'm trying to practice setting them with myself more and just being more not diligent, disciplined. And so yeah, absolutely. I'm in therapy myself. I'm trying to practice what I preach.
Right.
And yeah, it's definitely affected me. And I think, like I said, being in those group therapy sessions with y'all, going home and just reflecting and understanding like what other people are going through, I think that humbles me and it brings me back down to reality where it's like, you know what, I'm going through that too, but I'm ignoring it. Or I'm not addressing it, or how am I dealing with this thing, or what did I do for myself today, or did I check in with me? I'm checking in with everybody else.
Right.
So it's definitely affected me and how I observe myself and take care of my mental health.
Is fitness a part of that for you too? Like just like going to the gym and all that?
Saw them reels.
I did.
Like, don't be acting
I
like
did.
Yes, I love to work out. That's something that's always been like just fun for me. Just fun fact, I've basically weighed the same weight like my whole life. I think like after COVID was like the first time I gained a little bit of weight, and it was like 5 pounds.
Everyone gained weight during COVID.
Well,
so
it was like I wanted to. I had been trying to figure out how to get thicker intentionally.
Right.
So yeah, like working out is a big part of it. I like to read. I like to. That's a time where like I'll meditate in the sauna. I'll pray. I'll set my intentions for the day. But yeah, working out has always been like my way to just like it's the only time I can turn my mind off.
Right.
It's like
I agree.
Running was that for me. Running was
fair.
Really
Yeah. Right.
It was the only time where I wasn't like, oh yeah, did I email that person back, or did I eat, or did I do this, or did I do that? So like, yeah, fitness.
Yeah, truly, just no. I feel the same way. Like,
I want to incorporate that in Artist Talk, so that's coming soon.
That'd be kind of dope.
Quite figured out what I want to do with that.
But make us do a mile run or what's up? Like you doing that?
You doing a drill? Do it first. Yeah. Stay tuned.
No. I mean, I feel like the same way about the gym. I think it's just a space. You know, spend like an hour and some change in there. It's just, you know, the movement is an aspect. Like you said, it's like just that time where like you don't got to worry about who am I emailing or who am I. You know, just get through this set, go through the next set.
Just do. A personal trainer.
That's fine.
He's been a personal trainer for my whole adult life. So when me and him were like, when I was still like being in high school, I would want to hang out with him all the time after school. So I would go to the gym and I would sit there with him his whole shift. I would like, you know, I would do other stuff. I would work out for 8 hours, but I'd bug him. I'd like, well, we don't have to talk about that part. You know, we took little breaks. In the car.
Yeah.
And then we would like, I would work out. I would watch him with his clients. So yeah, I mean, that was a way for me to connect and spend time with him because that was the only time he really had. Otherwise he was running around and like, you know, doing adult stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like a way we bonded, and like he worked at all different types of gyms. So it was just cool to see him kind of like navigate that space, and that probably impacted me wanting to work with people and communities.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure. Yeah, you know, definitely influential. I know you spoke on Kodak Black and his ability to like relay, you know, mental health through his, you know, to his audience and whatnot. I was just curious, was there any other artists on that same wave for you?
Shout out to Kodak. I love Kodak. Anybody else on that wave for me? Well, I feel like honestly, I'm just a lot of black male rappers. I feel like people, and I mentioned this in Lemon Loud's podcast. Shout out to Bilal. That's my homie since like kindergarten. But yeah, I think there are a lot of artists. I think like when I'm going through stuff and I'll listen to like black male artists and I'm like listening to this stuff that they're saying and can relate to it. I'm like, they've been saying this the whole time, but I really didn't realize how deep it was till I was going through my own stuff. And you kind of like need to decipher it. But I would say like Rod Wave.
Okay.
I was not a fan of NBA YoungBoy, but like if you listen to some of his stuff, he be dropping some nuggets too. Just like people don't understand that in their music, they think it's fun and it's trending, but they're really crying out for help. Like Juice World.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a huge example. Yeah,
my second answer.
Right.
Like, I literally, my heart is broken when I watch documentaries or watch videos about him because his soul was so pure and he really had great intention, but he was screaming out for help.
Yeah.
Mac Miller was screaming out for help. He was like, he needed his community and his people. And I felt like part of his community failed him in a sense. Cause like, I don't know. I just feel like he really just wanted to be happy and be normal. And like, I think like when you're in a position of power and you're a leader and you're paving a way for a lot of people in your family or community, they lean on you and they just like, if you let them, they'll suck the life out of you, man. And I think like he was just tired. He was tired. So yeah, those are two people where if you really listen to their music, like you'll hear it in the lyrics.
Yeah.
So
no, I just thought that was pretty interesting. I was just curious to see if there was any other person just in that same vein for you. What are some of the or just really any other art forms that have inspired you recently?
Art forms?
Yeah.
Oh my God, everything. Everything. Yeah, outfits you wear to the cohort.
Oh shit. Appreciate you.
I was literally about to text Michael because he was like, let me know if there's anything I could get for you. And I was like, honestly, like, can Tobi style me? Because I was struggling to find.
Can I style you with the fur boots? She got fur boots in it.
Let me borrow. Like,
talk about hell, yo.
But I mean, a lot of people inspire me. Our social media team, they inspire me to see the things that they come up with and how we work together. Everybody in the cohort, like the stuff that they're putting out, I'm constantly watching y'all's pages to see like what you got going on and what you're creating. A specific medium that inspires me, I don't know if I could really say anything specific has been like speaking to me lately, because I've been a little bit in my shell. Around my birthday, I usually go back into my shell and like regroup. But yeah, I would just say I'm constantly around artists. Anybody that's creating. My lash tech, Haley, like literally, I just be infatuated.
Shout out to Haley.
The person that did my hair, like all artists. It's just it's cool to see you make something different out of like a beginning stage, because I don't usually look like this. No, I'm just kidding. No, but a lot of artists inspire me, and I watch them. So.
That's dope. But shout out to Haley, the lash tech. Shout out to the hair.
Facts.
Shit
Pixie
is all
pretty in Pittsburgh. If you need, I used to fly back from LA to get my lashes done. That's how on point she is.
No, that's real.
She's the GOAT in the city. She also teaches classes, so get with her and support her. She also taking sponsors if you just want their little change.
No, that's real. Yo, Sydney, I want to thank you so much for coming back through.
Thank you.
I just even want to quickly say I appreciate and am so just grateful that you chose me for the cohort. This third cohort. It's completely just been a blessing.
You chose yourself,
no,
man.
it's been a blessing, and I'm super glad I joined. I can't wait to graduation coming up in a few months. I think that's going to be like, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, no, it's about to be lit. I know it's about to be lit. But if you want to plug anything, obviously you got a whole slew of stuff to plug. So please, take your time in, do that stuff, let people know where they can find you and all that. But again, thank you so much for coming through again and chopping it up,
thank
yo.
you for having me.
Hell yeah.
If if you want to check into Artist Talk, our website is artisttalkmentalhealth.com. Our Instagram is artisttalkmentalhealth.com. Our YouTube is artisttalkmentalhealth.com. Or Artist Talk Mental Health, not the .com. Ways that you guys could support me. I'm gonna be dropping some nipple stuff soon. That's my personal Instagram. I make nipple printed hats that support breast cancers. That's one of my entrepreneurial endeavors. And yeah, man, just I guess if I could leave you with something, I was talking to a mentor the other day, and he was like, I've been slipping on just like asking myself, like, what have I done for myself today? So I would encourage you to continue to ask yourself that question and just be like present and doing stuff for yourself and taking care of yourself and your mental, because especially if you're somebody that's pouring into the community, we got to pour into our own cup. So I'm just grateful to be here, grateful to be able to continue to serve y'all. And yeah, tap in.
Word up. Listen, man, MIC Podcast episode 151, where everyone is a master of their own creation. Cindy Davis moving and shaking shit up in the city. And we out, bro. Peace.